for joining. I see some familiar faces, and we have Anna Boroshok today with us. Absolutely amazing woman, and honestly, there is so much to learn from her. We met online, so we haven't met physically, even though we're in the same country. But Anna is visible everywhere. I guarantee you, if you check Instagram, LinkedIn, any other channels, Anna? Facebook. Yeah, right.
Probably my major channel.
That's right. If you check the social media channels, you'll see how much active she is on there with Fearless Female Founders is the group that she has founded and leading, empowering women to get the best out of the jobs and lives, I believe. That's all connected. So we have invited Anna here for an interview so that she can share her journey, switching from a desirable job for most of us. She used to work for Google, going into independent, a solopreneur. And I was very curious to actually know why this happened. So before we get into that, I'd like to ask Anna to quickly introduce you and share your story to the point you arrived in Belgium, because that's a very interesting.
Yeah, well, first of all, hello everyone. Yeah, I can see a lot of faces now. Guys, congratulations for joining. I think it's an amazing thing, you know, that you found time to join us and learn something, you know, about shifting from corporate into freelance. So thank you very much for taking your time. Yeah, so a little bit about myself. I was born in a faraway Uzbekistan in the like 7th largest desert in the world. So I was literally born in the middle of a desert. And yeah, it was a tough journey for me to come from post-Soviet Uzbekistan with a single mother taking care of me to large corporate companies. I was working in Microsoft, in Accenture, in Google, and all of that happened in Ireland. And I tell you, it took a lot of effort and self-belief, let's say, to get there. But as Alina has asked me, I think, yeah, it's a very good question. It's like why I decided to make the shift from the corporate world, you know, from those amazing companies paying amazing salaries to being a freelancer. And the reason is, I think this is, well, the first reason is that's the usual journey I find of a lot of people, you know, that first of all, you follow what society tells you, that you need to get a good education, that you need to get a good job. And my idea was, yeah, because I was living with a single mom, I was like, okay, mom, I will take care of us. I will get a good education. I will get that good job and I will take care of us. Because there were times when we couldn't afford food or couldn't afford shoes, and I had to wear the same pair of shoes with holes for 3 seasons in a row. So I kind of made a promise to myself that I will get into those companies. And this is the usual journey people have. Okay, that's what the society told me. I go to school, I will study, I will get that amazing job, and then you get that amazing job, and I was like, is it what I was striving for? And then they kind of try to understand, who am I? What do I really enjoy doing? What is my mission? What is my why? So this is the first reason, like the usual curve for a lot of people. And the second reason is that I felt I'm not fitting into the corporate environment. I absolutely hate office politics. And for me, I was always really bad in that, into playing politics, being nice with bosses, not expressing my opinion. So basically, I was very often clashing with other people, trying to bring forward my opinion. And the third reason, actually, and this is one of the reasons I've established Fearless Female Founders, is because I was working in a very competitive male environments. So I was surrounded very often by men where if there are more than one man in the room with you discussing something, I just couldn't make my voice to be heard. I just felt no one wants to listen to my opinion. So I started dreaming about, okay, what if I do something where I can do things the way I want to do them? I can do my own mistakes. And this is one of the probably biggest pain points. You know, when you do a mistake in the corporate world, there will be people who will be taking you, you know, by your hair and putting you into your mistakes. And this was really painful for me. So I thought, I will do my own things. I will do my own mistakes, and I will be responsible for those mistakes. So those were the major reasons.
Okay, it sounds like it's probably similar to most of us when we felt a bit tight in the corporate world and we wanted to have more responsibility and we knew that we can do more. And thus we just made this ambitious step to, you know, to prove ourselves that we can do it. But did you prepare yourself into that, or was it just from one day to another that you jump into this?
Well, this is an important thing now, guys. Pay attention, please, if you're in corporate world. This is a very important thing, that what I'm going to say now. And I see this mistake not only based on what I have done, but also based on the stories of women I work with, because Fearless Female Founders is almost 3 years old. And I see a lot of journeys during those 3 years. So I already can give some sort of a summary. What are the mistakes? What are those usual mistakes that people do when they shift or they want to shift from corporate to freelance? So my story was definitely not linear. You know, those stories that you usually see in social networks or you read in the books where the person was climbing the career ladder, and then, you know, they hit the ceiling, and then they thought, okay, now it's time for me to go become a freelancer or entrepreneur, and they go and their business flies and everything is perfect and amazing. That is not my story. And believe me, this is not the story of a lot of people. But we just, you know, we only see the glamorous stories on social networks, and this is what confuses us a lot, and particularly women. Why women? Because we don't have this collective history, let's say, of becoming entrepreneurs. You know, so if men were there for, I don't know, centuries, a lot of years, and they know that building business takes time, women somehow often think that, you know, I'll just do the shift and then the business will fly. And unfortunately, this doesn't work that way. And this is the first mistake, the first mistake I made as well. So I will bring you an example. When I was working in Google, and I burned myself down for I don't know how many times. It was a very demanding job. And at one point I started thinking, okay, maybe I should try something on my own. And I was working with YouTube influencers, and I saw how much they earn. That was the beginning of YouTube, by the way. So I was working with the largest Russian influencers. There was these young, glamorous girls who were earning like $3,000 per, I don't know, a minute of mentioning something in the video. And I was like, that's it. That's gonna be my bliss time. You know, I will become a YouTube influencer, a vlogger, and there will be no problems in my life anymore. So I went into it. I decided to become a beauty vlogger. And, you know, as much as demanding that job was, I was coming from it. I was writing the script of the videos, I was recording the videos, I was editing videos, I was doing everything on my own. I felt so exhausted. And after 5 videos, when I saw that no one is really reacting and my colleagues are kind of mocking me, I thought, this is it. I'm not a talent. I'm not really a vlogger. I will not be able to earn money from being a vlogger. And this was, the mistake, that we expect things to happen this soon. And especially now when the internet is overloaded with the content, to make your voice heard is so incredibly difficult. And yet we expect people to, to see our service, our solution, our program, and immediately want to buy it. It doesn't happen like this. So don't think that, okay, you will start a business. For example, you have your product, amazing product, and you will come out and people all of a sudden will want to buy it and your business will fly.
So what does it mean? Does it mean that while working, you still have to test grounds and try different things before you emerge into full-time independent activity?
Yeah, that's the thing. So I even read research recently that was analyzing people who decided to cut everything in the corporate world and go 100% into building their business against people who were gradually building their business. So what they have found, that 33% of people who go 100%, they actually fail. So there are much more chances that you will fail if you go there unprepared. And most of the time you think that you are prepared. But believe me, I don't know if there are many people listening to us from Belgium. You're not prepared.
Question maybe to the audience. Who of you just started or starting? Raise the hand if, okay, Michelle, Astrid. And there are 4 people behind the dark screen. Just wave maybe in the comments or something like that, so we know at which stage you are. Okay, cool, fantastic. By the way, in each masterclass we do, or interview or Zoom meeting, we ask people to drop their LinkedIn profile in the chat. Take this opportunity to connect with someone you haven't. Also write what you do, we love it. So that's how we know actually who we meet, so we can continue talking maybe business, who knows. But let's return to Anna. Right, so what sort of prep you did technically?
Yeah, so, but I didn't tell you that I failed for more than one time. And guys, please accept that it's okay actually to fail. I don't know how many times you need to fail to actually, finally pick up and go there. And don't be hard on yourself, please, please, please. If you fail, don't be hard on yourself. Believe me, you're not alone there. And another example, again about women, because we organize networking events, which are called Networking with Purpose. And during those events, we realize that we are not alone, because women, they usually start solo businesses. And while they're building those businesses, they don't talk to other people. So they don't see the struggles of other people. And they think that they are not good enough in what they do. And they give up too early, way too early. Like at I don't know, at 5% of what is supposed to be done to actually make a business fly, they give up on 5% out of like everything that is ahead. So yeah, before I tell you what you need to have, or how you can prepare yourself, just give you a quick example, because I work with startups as well. And there are some startups with amazing products, absolutely amazing products. And you think, okay, if you put this product outside, everyone will just want it and they will fly. The money will flow. And it takes minimum 3 years actually to get to break even. And that's why a lot of people fail, because when they do the shift from corporate to freelance, hoping that in 3 months they will generate revenue, and it doesn't happen. And then particularly in Belgium, when you start getting invoices for social contributions, you need to pay VAT tax, you need to pay this, you need to pay that. You're like, ah, my God, I have to pay all this. I haven't earned anything yet. And this was my my second failure in Belgium when I moved from Ireland to Belgium. So I left Google, I left Ireland after 7 years living there. I decided to give it a go, to be a freelancer here, to be independent. I had some savings and I thought, yeah, that will be enough for 3 months for launching my academy. And yeah, everything will just go fine. And then I started getting social payments that I had to pay, and it was like 700 euro per quarter. And I had to also consume money that I saved. And all of a sudden I started panicking. I was like, okay, money are flowing the wrong direction and they're not flowing in. It's like, what do I do? So I completely panicked. And what you need to understand, and I'm sorry, guys, if I'm coming back always to women, because this is my area of expertise. We women, we are very risk averse. So if men sometimes can be motivated by risks and dangers, we women usually get frozen. We get scared, we panic, and we put our heads into sand. And that's basically what I did. I'm not talking about all women. There are women who are coping with those kind of things really well, but I was one of those who put my head into sand. And I was shocked. I was shocked by all the bills coming my way. And this is where the second mistake, or third already, comes in, is not taking time, especially if you are an immigrant like me, to understand local bureaucracy, to understand how local taxation works. So first, I didn't have any experience in accountancy, and I didn't know anything about Belgian taxes, how they work. I didn't know that there is VAT to submit every 3 months. I didn't know about social contributions and how they are calculated. I didn't know how to find balance between what I can expense and what I can get back. And this is what I decided to put my focus on before I went for my third attempt. I decided, okay, I will become a professional myself about taxes and everything what's going on in Belgium, in that area, to be confident about that. And you probably will never be able to be 100% sure about all the taxes, about all the balance, let's say, okay, how much I spend, how much I'm going to get. I sat down with accountants, I changed my mindset. And this is another mistake that people don't do. They don't realize how different the mindset of entrepreneur is from the corporate one. And because I'm more connected now with entrepreneurs, a lot of them are telling me, look, sometimes I think, should I go back to corporate or not? Because there is a lot of uncertainty. there is a lot of uncertainty, and you don't always understand what will be the next bill from the government, particularly, not even like from the clients or something, but really the bills that you're going to get from the government, but knowing your numbers so you could come back to them and argue that you're right. And I will bring you another example. So now when I'm on my third attempt, when I'm much more aware now about the taxes and everything, I received a bill from Serious. So this is social welfare association. I don't know how to call it exactly. And the bill was for 6,000 euro. And when I received it, previously I would be completely shocked. I would start crying. I would put my head into the sand. But this time I was like, 6,000? Wait, this is not what I have calculated for myself. So I called them and I said, look, this is way too much. What is going on? And we started looking into it, and we realized that I have predicted my revenue without taking account my expenses. So those little things, well, little, they're actually huge, those things. But if you don't know them, you will be shocked, you will be scared. So you need to take your time to understand those things. And I recommend you to go to Accountable. It's a platform for accountancy in Belgium, and you can download the file, which is called something like How to Start to Be Freelance or Independent in Belgium. Maybe I can dig it out and send it to Elena so you could have a look at it. So really prepare yourself and know all the details on how to register yourself as a physical person, as a company, because there are different buckets in Belgium. And yeah, the way you register for them is whether you qualify for the next level, let's say, or not. So we don't have time, of course, to cover all that, but you need to take time to understand that.
And how many we have from Belgium here? I can count few. Okay, quite some. Manuela, you're from another side. We know. All right, just being mindful of time. I do have a question, and you mentioned in email about money blocks, and I think that's very important. I personally can relate to that. So can you explain what money blocks are and how to handle them?
Yeah, we not always realize that we have those blocks, but if you noticed, there are some people who just go for it, you know, and they just start earning money. And then there are people who have a lot of troubles about asking money. And even if it's not asking money, but selling even something online, it's still going really hard. And most of the time, that's because of the unconscious blocks that we don't see and we don't realize. And I will bring you an example from my own example so you would understand it better. So it can come from ancestry as well. There is no magic in there. Like many people think, okay, that something happened in my ancestry and then the magic flew and then I have it as well. It basically can be explained very, very easily. So if you look at your grandparents, and my grandparents were living during Leninism, and they were a wealthy family. And then when the revolution happened, everything was taken away from them. Everything, but so much everything that my grandfather couldn't resist it. He had a heart attack and he died, and he left the wife with 5 children behind who never worked, and they didn't know how to survive. My grandmother had to be sent to an orphanage because of this situation. And when you analyze those things, you need to think, what kind of beliefs my ancestry has shaped when these kind of things happened to them, what they started believing. that I cannot trust people, that people can come and take your money. And I will put the parallel between those two things in my case. So working in those huge corporations like Microsoft and Google, I was earning very good salaries, but I always felt the scarcity because I always found a way to get rid of those money. Really. There were some friends coming to me saying, Anna, let's go, I don't know, to Bali or whatever. And I would say, look, I don't have money. And they would say, what do you mean? You work in Google, you have bonuses and everything. And I said, no, I don't have money. And it was true, because I would find a way to get rid of those money. And why is it so? Is because from my ancestry, I knew that it's better not to have money, because they will come and they will take away everything. They will take away your family. They will take away your wealth. And yeah, and this is the way I was, just throwing away that money on something. And
can't lose what you don't have kind of approach, right?
Exactly. And that also creates uncertainty as well, which for a woman is very important. I don't have money, I don't have certainty, I cannot go ahead with my business. How do I support myself? So when I realized that, I started working on my mindset. I started shifting it with a lot of different exercises. And I started to create this security pillow for myself. I started investing in stocks. I started to really calculate everything about my money, where they go, where they live. And I started to be much more concentrated about my business money. So I know every penny that comes in, every penny that comes out. I know what is expensible, to what extent. And if I don't know, I go to accountable and I ask meticulously everything to understand that. And that's when you start to feel more security and you go for your dream.
Yeah, I don't remember at what mistake we're at now, probably already 6 or 7. But I think this one is, you have to own it, right? You have to own your business. You need to understand every detail about it. So if you do the switch, just be prepared that you would need to get into nitty-gritty of every single detail that comes along. Otherwise, and I've seen also many situations when you rely on someone, even if you work with an accountant, that you can be screwed. My personal situation, several times, big penalties from tax authorities for not filing things correctly, even though you worked with an accountant. So it's in your best interest to know it.
I would even add here, because I also had a very similar situation to yours. So when I had my attempt in Belgium, I started to receive fines because I didn't take time to understand the whole bureaucracy in here. And when you receive fines of 500, 2,000 euro, yeah, you're like, you want to run. It's like, you don't want to deal with those kind of things. And when I was going to my accountant was angry at me for me not taking care of things. But I was angry at him not letting me know that I should know what I should know. And this is something you need to be really aware of. Your accountant is not responsible for informing you about anything. They just receive, well, of course, if you pay maybe additionally something to them, which is quite expensive, by the way, they will not come to you proactively explaining you things. They will not. Please remember that. So you have to take your own responsibility of understanding how things work. And as I told you, if you go to an accountant, it might be expensive. I'll just give you an example. Recently, I wanted to make the balance of my income outcome, how much taxes, that the projected taxes and the projected social welfare that I'm going to pay. I've spent 2.5 hours with an accountant. I paid about 300 euro. you can make it cheaper as well. There are organizations, for those of you who are in Belgium, you can go to Zenito or Liantis. I think Unito and Liantis, I think it's the same thing. They were separate, but now they're the same. Zenito and Liantis. So these agencies will give you information for free. But then, you know, to put all the whole picture together, it's you. Become a digger. Become a researcher until you really, when puzzles start to come together, that's when you start to be really an expert and understand how your business operates, and and gives you the confidence to go ahead with your business.
Okay, fantastic. Looking at the time, are there other mistakes we need to mention?
Delegating.
Good one.
Yeah. I think also that the first 2 times that I failed is I was trying to do everything on my own. And I know it's hard. And the biggest problems for people when they start doing business is like, how do I balance hiring someone and paying, actually, because I just started, you know, I don't have money to pay someone to do something for me. And like Alina's example is really great, you know, find volunteers. It's a little bit harder to work with them because you don't pay them. They're not obliged to do things for you, but this is one way to do that. And the second one, when you're a business, you can expense freelancers. And especially when you are in your first 3 years as an independent, you can expense more than when your business is established. So I'm expensing and buying things at the maximum, so I would pay less taxes. And this is another important thing to understand, because the first time when I was going, when I was doing my attempt in Belgium, I didn't expense anything. It was crazy. You need to understand that the more you spend, the less taxes you pay, but you need to be careful about understanding what is expensible and what is not. And when you look at the explanation first, you might be a little bit too optimistic about that, because sometimes they say, okay, the hybrid car is, let's say, 70% expensible, but there are some calculations happening which bring it, for example, in my case, I thought, okay, I buy a car, 70%, I can expense it, amazing. But then I calculated it with an expert, and it turned out that I will be able to expense only 27%. So you need to be aware of those things. And how do you know about that? You go and dig before you make a solution about something like a big purchases, like a car. You need to dig and find the answer, and ask maybe more than one person, especially in Belgium, because sometimes, you know, you cannot rely on one expert, because one expert can tell you one thing and another one a completely different thing. So I'll clarify that.
Okay. I do have a question though about clients and how to find them, because I think that's the most typical mistake also, thinking, you know, I just easily call my network and they will gonna hire me or, you know, buy my service. How it was in your case?
Well, my case is probably not the most interesting case to share, because I have one stable client for who I work 3 days a week. And then the rest of the week I work for fearless female founders. But looking at FFF, for example, the fearless female founders, different people have different experiences. There are some people who had their network already when they were incorporated. And the reason why they decided to shift is because their clients were coming to them already. So they felt the traction and they just went for it, and it worked for them. But if you don't have already clients that build at least that contribute to your basic livelihood, I wouldn't recommend to, you know, just drop everything in the corporate world and go into freelance. You do really need to build that network of clients, let's say, that will feed you with money. And yeah, so what am I doing? Yeah, I have my my clients. That is probably 90% of my income. And parallelly, I also built my academy for fearless female founders. And the way I'm going to generate clients, let's say, or find clients, is through advertising and funnels and automation. So something which is really well thought through, you know, it's not like random advertising. It's a huge whole system of the right pages, the right advertising, the right communication after people download something that you give them, and everything feeding into each other. This is my way. I mean, there are people, of course, generating clients, leads in a different way, but this is...
Yeah, so you're building scalable business, as they call it, through digital marketing, digital campaigns. Okay, that's cool. Maybe the last one thing, because we're already over time, and please connect with Anna on event platform. She's available, or in LinkedIn, in case you have any questions. But as a summary, I'd like to pinpoint these 10 lessons, as we promised, we are going to cover. So if you could just shortly, you know, like one by one, make sure we get them so I can make a summary and then we publish it.
Okay, let's try. Don't burn the boats. Don't burn the boats, the first one. Second, work on your mindset. Third, create a safety caution, like stock investment. By the way, I have a course, very short course on how to start investing this week already. The fourth point, clear your blocks. So not only money blocks, sometimes they are even deeper blocks. You don't know that they are there, and they can also block you. Fifth, learn how to manage finances and taxes. Six, learn everything about business types and registration. Seventh, learn when and how much taxes to pay, because there are a lot of different kind of taxes. Eighth, delegate and build partnerships. Find people who are already there, so surround yourself with them. Ninth, give value to your customers. And that was the mistake I didn't have time to talk to. In the beginning, I was very much focused on, okay, how do I succeed as a business, instead of really following my why and giving value to people and really genuinely connecting to them. And the last one, slow down and learn to act in flow. Oh my God, this is a very important one, and we didn't have time to cover it. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Don't burn yourself, because and you will push yourself, of course, when you start building your business and you look at the social networks and everyone is doing so great, you're like, okay, I have to go, I have to push, I have to. And then you burn yourself the way too soon, because also you expect to build your business in 3 months. It's not going to take 3 months. Just accept that it will take a longer period of time, and take your time. Very important.
This is great. This is great. Thanks a lot, Anna.
My pleasure.
Anyone has any comments, questions, suggestions? The last minute of it. Okay, cool. Well, thanks a lot for sharing, Anna. Really, really interesting insights. I personally can relate to all of them, and I've been freelancing for 5 years by now. So I wish I had such advice before. Definitely helpful. And like Anna said, build up a network around you. Connections are important. So do take the opportunity within this event to connect at least with one person a day and have a phone conversation just to learn more of what they do. And this is how in a month you'll have 30 people you met. That easy. So go ahead, enjoy your evening. I hope to see you tomorrow. I'm looking at the schedule right now. We start 10 o'clock with Alison Grade. She's a book writer, absolutely amazing person, definitely lots to learn from. And she wrote that book because she said, actually, there is no education for independent professionals. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to put my knowledge in a book. So I join tomorrow at 10. Thanks for coming. Cheers.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank you,
watching.
Anna. Yes.